We are back, and we are live here on Trunk Nation, talking rock with you as we do each and every day, live in the 3 to 5 Eastern window, noon to 2 Pacific, anytime using the SiriusXM app. And it is great to welcome this guy back to the program. He was on with us not long ago as we were discussing his, at the time, to be released new record. Out now, and ladies and gentlemen, it is the #1 album in the country. And no, we are not talking about some pop record or some country record or some hip hop record. We are talking about an all-out metal record, and it's a great record. It's the new album from Megadeth, the #1 record in America. And joining us and returning to the show to talk about that is the one and only Dave Mustaine. Dave, congratulations, man. What an accomplishment. How did you find out the news that you were #1?
Well, I had hello to everybody in the Trunk Nation, and Eddie, thank you. True, we just were there with you, and we did get the #1, which is fantastic. I had gotten a message the morning, Sunday morning, and it was Justice had sent me a message, and I called him back, and his message just said, "We fucking did it." And I didn't know what that meant, because we had been talking about Australia being the band's first #1. And I called him back, and he was really emotional because of our accomplishments, because we've worked so hard for this for so many years, and especially this campaign. This campaign has been incredible, how hard we worked, and all the friends we've made, all the support we've gotten from so many people. Yours truly, Eddie, I have to say a massive thank you to you.
Well, look, man, I appreciate that, and I sent you a note to congratulate you on the accomplishment, and you sent me a wonderful text back, which I really appreciate. But Dave, I mean, when you think about a record like, and for because it's truly, I was listening to it last night again. I mean, it is a monster record, and what if this really is your last record? What a final statement, and what a final way to go out. But you put so much into this, and so much into the lead up to the record, the way you rolled out the songs, the movie theater event you did, the interaction with the all the fans. Was that all kind of just something that came from you or your camp or your management? I thought the setup was phenomenal.
Yes, it was truly phenomenal. Out of all the previous 16 albums, nothing was quite this intense, and the attention to detail, all of the people that we got involved, no stone unturned. It was fantastic. It was CTK, who I mentioned before, Justice, Danny, and Steve. And then it was Results Global, which is our marketing business, and One Life, who is is the people running our fan club, and our label was fantastic. They were just starting, so we had a pretty clean slate to work off of, and they were very flexible. And look what happened, #1 record.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. Does this inspire you to maybe think about doing another one, or do you want to go out like at the top of the game?
Oh, Eddie, there you go again. No, I had to say that. That's my Ronald Reagan impression. It's not that I don't want to stay. It's that my hands are betraying me. And, if there was another way around this, I would swallow my pride and say, you know what, I was able to find some miracle cure, or something like that, where I could play left-handed or something, But I'm cool with going out right now where we're at. This is just wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to go out. And now that you're getting ready, now that the record's out there and people have had a chance to spend some time with the record, what have you heard from them regarding the material? I mean, what's the feedback you're getting? You're pretty actively engaged with the fan base. I mean, what are they saying about this record in terms of now that they've had time to live with the songs and listen to it a little bit?
Well, they were really moved by the last note. Clearly, anybody that's heard that song yet, so far, it's a very, very, very touching, deep song. And Eddie, did I lose you? No, there you are. And then the first three singles we put out, Tipping Point, I Don't Care, and Let There Be Shred. You know, the Let There Be Shred campaign we did with the listening event, that was really fun. We got to do a full-on interactive day in the life of Megadeth, and we had Jose, who I'm sure you guys talk all the time still. He was hosting it, and he made it really something special. We did a bunch of really neat little things on the side to bring the fans closer to us. And then the movie came out, and by the time that happened, Eddie, I was so over the moon with all of the setup on this record. My management is to me, in my career, I've had a lot of name managers, and this is the best management I've ever had.
Yeah, well, I know some of those folks and very good people, so that's all part of the teamwork that makes something like this happen. Overall, Dave, I mean, having a number one album like this with a pure metal record like this record is, I not only feel good for you and the band, and I actually saw James in LA over the weekend, and I congratulated him. I said, you're the number one record in the country. He's like, yeah, who would have thought? But I mean, for the genre in general, you're starting to see, I think, some really cool stuff happening with rock and metal. There's this feeling that maybe we're on the cusp of this kind of getting a front row seat a little bit in terms of a genre. And having a Megadeth record at number one across the board, just to be clear for the audience, this is not like number one on a metal chart. This is overall of all music released. You got to feel good for the overall genre. Do you feel good where we're headed in terms of like classic bands like Megadeth and newer bands in this genre of music?
Well, don't. I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of the new bands, they're not very similar to us, so I don't know that any of the new bands would be able to benefit from this. However, when I was in the studio, I said something to the guys. I said, man, I have a feeling there's going to be a full-on metal renaissance for us, for all of the guys, from our era, not guys that are new to the business, although a lot of them are very talented. So, yeah, I think that this is going to be really good. You see the way that the ticket sales have been for our Canadian tour with Anthrax and Exodus. That tour is coming up in a couple of weeks, and we've had so many of the shows are sold out and are close to sold out, and that didn't happen for a long time with bands like ours. We would have great walk up, but usually you would get there and you would hope for the best. But we've been seeing shows sell out a lot in advance, and that I think is going to change and be even more so now, because by nature we're curious, and I love it when people say, I want to hear what this number one record sounds like. You're going to like it.
Dave, listening to the record, it's amazing to me. The playing is phenomenal. The production is phenomenal. But the thing that amazes me about it is, after all these decades of doing this, you and I are around the same age. I mean, you've somehow managed to keep that attitude, that energy, that classic Mustaine vibe in this record. Is it hard to conjure up that sort of energy and that sort of attitude on these records as you've gotten older? I mean, obviously when you started, you were a younger guy struggling, trying to figure it out. Now you're a successful, established act, but you still have somehow maintained that. Is that a harder thing to do when you get in the studio, to really bring that energy and that aggression?
Nah, it depends on, if it's true, if that is a legitimate place you go to. Like if I said, can I swear on the show?
Yeah.
You can. Okay, so if I said, fuck you, Eddie, you'd probably think, yeah, yuck. But if I said, fuck you, Eddie, it's a little different, And
yeah,
I think it's all in the delivery.
Yeah, but that's the point. You still have that delivery. It's pretty amazing. And to that point, I want to ask you about a song on the record called "Hey God." Now that I've had a chance to live with the record a little bit, tell me about that one. I mean, I know you're a man of faith, but you're having a conversation there that's pretty interesting. Tell me about putting that song together.
Yeah, well, I think people have been making a really big deal out of all of this because I don't promote it at all, and it's really a one-on-one thing anyway. You know what I mean? It's like me with my creator. So going around and bragging about it to people. First off, I don't know very much about what I'm saying, so I don't want to mislead anybody. I've never done that with anything that I do, guitar playing or making pancakes, So that song was kind of from the perspective of, hey, I'm not really proud of how I've lived my life, and through it all, something has just clicked, and someone has felt like they've been there in the shadows looking over me, making sure that no matter what, all those times I say, oh, please, God, get me out of this, and I promise I'll never do it again, that those actually work.
And I wanted to ask you, too, about Tipping Point, because it was the lead track on the record. It is the lead track on the record. It's the first song we heard from the record. But
right.
But where was that? Where was that in the origins of writing this record? Did it come more towards the end or more to the beginning? Because that just is such classic Megadeth in every way, and the riffing and the power in that song and the speed, it's just incredible. What was the origins of that one?
For Hey God?
No, for Tipping Point.
Oh, for Tipping Point. Tipping Point was song number 9.
It was number 9.
Yeah. So as we were going through and writing the songs, we'll go through the songwriting process and get the majority of a song done, and then when we're kind of at a break point where we see it's like a fitting place to take a break. Not that we've run out of track to take the train down still, but because something else is indicating we need to work on another song. So when we get finished with the song, we go on to the next one, and because the song titles change all the time, very long ago I had started numbering the tracks, because the numbers don't change, the names do. And Tipping Point was song number 9. I Don't Care was song number 7. No, I Don't Care was song number 2. I think, yeah, song number, I Don't Care was song number 4. Hey God was song number 2.
Okay. And talk a little bit about your bandmates on this record. I mean, I think this is Timu's first album, and if this is going to be your last record, it'll be the only album he performs on. And then you've got Dirk and James as the rhythm section, who are just extraordinary. I've known James for over 40 years, and hearing him, this is his second tour of duty with Megadeth, but hearing him play this style of music is a revelation. The first time he did it, because he doesn't really come from that, but it's so good. Can you talk about what your 3 bandmates brought to this? If you want to go each individually.
Yeah, sure. Timu is the first Finnish musician in history to have a number one record in America. And so I'm very proud of him for that. And Dirk is only the second Belgian to have a number one record. So this is historical on a national level. And Teamwood just became a national hero, and so did Dirk to some degree. And like you said, James is he's the cool guy, and I'm happy. I'm happy that he was able to come back, and we were able to stoke the fires again, and make another record, because it's been really fun. Playing live with him is great. He sings great. I've had my share of people singing background vocals over the years, and some have been good, and some have been just mediocre. And when Kiko was singing with us, I thought, wow, this guy can sing. Unfortunately, he has a bit of an accent, to an American. But it was great listening to him. And then when James came back, I had forgotten, when James was in the band the first time, how good he really was. So playing live right now is awesome. We go back and we redo all the songs, and anywhere that there's any involved vocal parts, he's right there nailing it.
You're getting ready for some really heavy touring coming up. As you mentioned, Canada, headline dates, shows supporting Iron Maiden. Have you started rehearsing, and have you figured out, with the Megadeth catalog being so vast, and now you've got a number one record, how you're going to represent and what you're going to represent from the new record and the live set?
Have I figured it out? I started working on it, Eddie, but you know what? I didn't get very far. Truth be told, I wanted to be with the band guys a little bit more, but I have a good idea. We've got about 5 songs that we must play every night. Peace Sells, Holy War, Symphony, and there's a couple other ones that are pretty strong songs that fans want to hear. Not the ones that they have to hear, but the ones that they want to hear. And if we look at it like that, we've got about 9 of those songs, and then the rest can all be, deep cuts. It could be surprise songs. I try not to talk a lot in concert, because I think that that's a waste of the audience's time. I didn't come to listen to a band have somebody that I like their songs. I don't want to hear what he's thinking about. I want to hear what he's singing about. Because it's a whole different vibe. What I went through listening to a lot of the punks and a lot of thrash metal bands in the beginning, how they would get up on stage and just go off, and it was to me unappealing. I think, God, what you're saying could be pearls, whatever that fucking stupid saying is.
Wisdom.
Yeah, the pearls of wisdom, right? But you may miss it because of who the delivery is from, and I think it's cool if you're gonna talk to your fans about stuff that they're gonna walk away and pontificate over, that they should be able to do that when the other people that are at your concert that may not appreciate that philosophical approach. Of course, if your band's a band like that, like say REM, I don't know if those guys are even around anymore, but a lot of people like to go and navel gaze. Not me. I want to shred the whole fucking time.
Hey, I know that as much as you are a major figure in this music yourself, you're also a fan of it. And it's got to be really cool for you still to be getting ready to go out and be direct support to Iron Maiden on so many shows coming up. How do you feel about that?
That's great. I mean, what guy that's a musician in the last quarter century doesn't know who Iron Maiden is, and well, geez, almost the last half century, isn't it now? So, and to get an opportunity to go out and tour with bands like that, there's not a lot of us left. So, I'm so glad that Bruce was able to get better. He encouraged me to get better, and it was great. It was really great. Great guy.
One more track I got to ask you about the new record, and it's one that understandably got a lot of attention, and that is you doing Ride the Lightning and doing a recording of Ride the Lightning, of course,
Right.
the Metallica song that you co-wrote. When did
Right.
you make that decision? And since it's now been released, have you heard anything from Lars or James about it?
No. When did the decision come down to do it? Well,
Yeah.
we were past the halfway point in the album. I think we were, because that song ended up being song number 13. There's that stupid number again. And when the time came to do that, we were talking about what we usually do is a rendition of somebody's song that we like, or something like that, or a remake. And when I was talking with Justice, he had said, "Why don't you do Ride the Lightning?" And I kind of looked at him like, and then I thought about it. And I said, "That's probably a good idea." And I said, "Let's try it." We tried it. It was cool. And I said to the band guys, "Okay, now if we're gonna do this, let's make sure that we do it as good as the original or better, because we got to do that. If we're gonna honor those guys by doing a new version of the song that I did with James, I think it's important to make it as good or better. And what we did was we sped it up a little bit, and the drum fills at the very end. I told Dirk, have fun there, and you can beef it up if you want. And I talked to Temu, and I said, the guitar solos that's in there, try and stay close to it if you can, because it really is Kirk doing an improvisation of what I was doing, and so let's have fun with it. And the solo was a little different, close to the original that Kirk did, but it's a little different. And then there was the singing. James and I have instantly identifiable voices, but they're not at all alike. And I was listening to James sing, and it was really it was fun for me to be able to listen to his vocal parts and break it down and hear how he sings, and then to go back and approach the song and try and sing in my style, which I do believe I put my DNA on that. And it would have been different if I would have done a song by a band I was in that I didn't write. That's kind of like doing a very weird nepotistic cover song. But this is one of my songs, so I loved doing this. I loved writing it with James, and I loved playing it with Megadeth.
Do you think you'll include that in the live set?
Oh shit, Eddie! You don't ask me that. Maybe.
Come on, man.
Maybe we do play mechanics.
Right.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I guess maybe. That'll be a. What's that?
I said maybe. Yeah, maybe.
All right. All right. Well, we'll go with a maybe. And Dave, one last thing from me. Just when you get ready for all this touring, and I look at the schedule, I mean, you're literally going all over the world, and you've talked about some of the issues you have physically. Do you have any concerns about being able to get through all this live? I mean, do you feel like you're in condition that you're going to be able to do it without a problem?
I have concerns, but they're small, and I'm in good condition, and I have a great trainer that travels with me, and I've got a very healthy band. my family's very healthy. It's just part of our way of life. And, the stuff that I went through when I was younger, that was stuff that I went through. We don't, nobody in our family ascribes to that lifestyle.
But in terms of physical stuff, the back, the hands, and all of that, you're working on that. You have people that are working on that, and will work with you on that as you're on the road to make sure that you're able to get through the shows.
Well, I can't do anything about my hands, Eddie. The next thing to do is go back to the hand surgeon, and the stuff with my back. I have fusion in my spine, and I've got fractures and compression and bulging discs going on back there. So it's painful. I know that there's a lot of other guys that were dealing with this kind of chronic pain from headbanging a lot, and we would hear about them, and I would think, man, so sorry for you. One of the guys, I think the guy was from Death, or what was the band that Jimmy McDonough was in? Iced Earth. Yeah, Iced Earth. That guy has got a really bad back, supposedly. I never got a chance to talk to him about it, but I heard about that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, when playing heavy music, as everybody knows, it's a physical thing, and that leads me to the other point is when you look at what's known as the Big Four: Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica, Anthrax. The fans are always asking me, Dave, like, what's going to happen when these bands end? And the problem with all four of those bands, you can't get up there and just stand there or sit on a bar stool and play. You've got to bring that delivery. You got to bring that intensity. Tom Araya, very bad neck issues and what have you. Slayer went away, now comes back and does a handful of shows a year. But basically, all four of you are still active. And you guys are kind of winding down, but you got a big road ahead of you. So, how do you see that? I mean, of the big four bands, it looks like Megadeth might be the first one to check out because of your issues, right? Slayer said they were, but they came back. But do you feel like, all four of you guys are probably reaching points that because of the intensity of the music, it just can't go on that much longer?
I think a lot of us were eaten alive by the intensity of the music and what it caused us to do with our skeletal systems and our nervous systems. I know I exchanged my nervous system for fame and my skeletal system playing, slinging that heavy guitar every night. For years and years and years, and then headbanging on top of it, and then looking to the left constantly for 40 plus years looking to the left. So you have your body's predisposed to look left and down. It creates musculoskeletal issues. And I believe that's what happened to Malcolm and Angus. I know that's what was going on with guys in Slayer and Metallica. I know Kerry's probably the only smart one of us. He stretches his neck out before he goes on stage. And when we did play at Sophia, that one Big Four show with them, I noticed that Kerry was stretching out, and that's when I finally started stretching my neck out before I went on stage, because old KK was taking better care of his neck than any of us thought.
Yeah. Do you think there's any scenario, do you hope that there would be any way that there could be one final Big Four show before you guys all end?
Yeah, but see, Eddie, the problem is when we did the Clash of the Titan thing, it was cool because Anthrax and Megadeth and Slayer, we all rotated. I mean, clearly there's a difference in perception between Metallica and the three of us. So, kind of is what it is, but I don't know that Anthrax, and I know we weren't really happy about it, but I believe that those guys would be way more open to us rotating than if we just did one show again with Anthrax opening. I mean, at a festival of that magnitude, people are going to be there. They're going to be there from the beginning, hopefully. But a lot of people are going to miss the opening band,
Right.
and sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. So if you're rotating, that makes it a lot much more fair in the long run because everybody gets that coveted spot when the sun starts to go down.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. That's a great point. Well, listen, man, I'm glad you took a few minutes to check in because, again, I just think it's phenomenal what's happening with this record and what a amazing final statement. Both the music and the success of it out of the gate, and
Thank
obviously
you.
there's a lot of runway still to come with the touring and all of that. So I hope you keep us posted. I look forward to seeing you out there on the road. And just in closing, anything that you want to say to the fans before you get ready to get out there and start playing?
Yeah, I love you all. Please tell all your friends to go get the new Megadeth album. This is an album that every time you play these songs, you can hear more from it. Megadeth records have always been like this, but this album so much more. And Eddie, invitation to you if you want to fly up to the Great White North and hang out for a couple days with like that. I think it'd be great. We can let the listeners all see what it's like for you up in Canada with our friends and with the guys in Anthrax and Exodus, and of course
Yeah,
Megadeth.
well, I'll tell you what, I'll take a look at the schedule, and I appreciate that invite. And if I can make it, I'd love to. And again, congratulations, Dave. Be healthy, be well. Good luck on the road. And again, check in with us anytime, man. It's always great to talk to you.
You too, Eddie. Thank you, buddy. Love, guys.
All right. See you, Dave. Thank you. Congrats.
Bye, Eddie. Stay busy.
Bye bye. Yep. See you. There he is. Dave Mustaine, everybody. Amazing.